Hello and welcome to Autumn's Journey. I just saw this on the English Otome blog, and I was like, "Huh, looks interesting." I liked this song that was playing when I downloaded. Um, I just liked how it looked, and I read some of the synopsis, and I'm kind of intrigued. So let's start. Yes, Chapter 1: The End of Summer. Sunlight filtered through the airy birch forest as the lush ferns grazed my boots. Can I press enter? Okay, good. I'll just take my mouse out of the way. I momentarily shielded my eyes before I turned north, treading carefully. The muggy atmosphere that had hung over the past few months was now being replaced by the subtle crispness of fall. I said Christmas of fall, didn't I? Though the trees were still vibrantly green, apple picking season was fast approaching for the town of Barry. I cheerfully stretched one arm towards the sky, inhaling deeply. Orally, huh? That's actually a really unique name. I'm pretty sure it's not referencing autumn in any time, in any way, whatever. And thus my weekly scanning for monsters, bandits, or anything out of the ordinary that may harm local citizens is over! Oh, she has voice acting. Great. I'm gonna have to make my voice like hers then. That's how my initial voice voice acting process goes anyway. Alright. And that concludes my mission. I laughed, wondering why I was announcing my agenda to no one. I guess I always just wanted to say that out loud. Voice is kind of loud. Walking around alone does not prompt you into monologuing just so you can hear a voice. I just wish I wasn't restricted to freelance work in Barry, though. How long is my training going to last? I'm more than ready for knighthood. I can do this. I adjusted the belt holding my sword, making sure the hilt could be pulled out at a moment's notice. Humming, I decided to meander back to the village by following the thin river down the gentle slope. I loved the terrain there. Not super rocky, but not entirely flat either. There was always an inclination, and higher up I could get a breathtaking panorama of Barry and its endless orchards, not orchids, dang it. Especially in autumn, when the leaves were so vibrantly red that the entire forest seemed to ignite, and the smell of crisp frost and thick fallen foliage lingered welcomingly. I should not try to talk so fast. It was then that I spotted something entirely out of the ordinary near the riverbank, leaning against a birch tree. The thin birch trees were not exactly known to be comfortable resting spots, and I did not recognize the stranger's attire. Hello? Are you a traveler? His face came into view and I realized he was sleeping, but that's not what caught me off guard. Oh my gosh, he's wearing Goku's outfit. I don't even watch that show. Why am I referencing it? He had a beautiful... He had beautiful protrusions resembling shale shards jutting out from his long hair, right where someone's ears should be. Or was it a decoration covering his ears? I suddenly wanted to touch them, but I resisted. If he woke up in an untimely manner, it would be awkward to explain. At first I was about to leave, but then I noticed something else rather odd. From a simple glance, I saw no bags, no possessions, or anything else on him. This place was too far away from civilization for a simple afternoon stroll. Was he mugged? And if he had been in Barry previously, I would have known. It was that small of a town. Curiosity won me over. Hello? A flicker of concern passed over my face. I grabbed his shoulder, English, and gave it a gentle shake, finding his lack of response unnerving. I quickly hovered a hand in front of his nose. Sure enough, he was breathing, and I did not see any injuries that would suggest he was knocked unconscious. Max the volume a bit more. That should be good. After some more feeble attempts to wake him, I decided to improvise a camp. I did not want him to leave unattended, and I knew I couldn't drag his body very far. Tossing down my bag, I went to work. Whoopsies. Oh great, someone's at the door. The fire crackled merrily on the birchwood as I opened my cloth, which contained a lump of rye bread and hard cheese. These were emergency rations, lest I was unable to return to Barry. Mother and father were probably worried. Just as I was about to bite into the cheese, I saw movement and glanced up, eyeing the stirring stranger. Sitting my foot down, I cautiously shuffled over. I had previously placed his body in a supine... What word is that? Whatever. I had previously placed his body in a supine position and used my bag as substitute pillow. Though it was probably more lumpy than anything else, it was better than nothing. Are you awake now? You've been out all afternoon. I was getting worried. I trailed off before I started rambling and watched him curiously as he opened his eyes. God, that scared me. Oh my god. Dang it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, expect a lot of jumpiness from me, from anything as stupid as that. In a split second, he shot up, and then clumsily fell back. I caught his arm to steady him. Whoa, take it easy, you just got up. He flinched from my skin contact, and I hastily let go, retreating slightly. I didn't get any sense of hostility, but he certainly seemed bewildered. As bewildered as I might be if I fear that someone might be sneaking up on me. There was an uneasy edge in his voice, not quite one of panic, but more of anger. It was then that I noticed that his eyes were of a brilliant amethyst hue, contrasting with his earthy hair tones. Better to remain calm. Orally, I found you in the woods outside of Barry. The surprise did not leave his eyes. They darted quickly to his hands, which then covered his face. Lastly, he ran his fingers through his brown hair. The horror on his face was so unsettling that I dumbly sat there for several seconds before mustering the courage to address him again. Are you all right? Obviously not, but I wanted a better grasp of the situation. He attempted to sit up again, but this time I was prepared. Again, he was repelled by my touch, and I gave up the desire to help him that way. He still appeared unstable, but ceased his sudden movements at least. He clutched at his temples, his fingers grazing over the odd fixations in the place of his ears. Stop it. You obviously can't move in your condition, so you might as well sit down and clear your head. What's going on? Who are you and what are you doing here? He looked at me as if he was registering me for the first time since asking who I was. Everything about him screamed overwhelmed, and he simply grit his teeth in frustration. Ask if he's hungry or say nothing. Oh shoot, sorry. I'll ask if he's hungry. He might be. Let's try not to be hostile or anything. I decided to find another angle to help him open up. I did not consider myself intimidating, but it was possible he had no desire to answer anything. Are you hungry? I softened my voice and returned to my spot by the fire. I grabbed the cloth and genially offered him the rye bread and cheese. He only arched an eyebrow in disgust. Sorry about that, I heard something. That? It's food. You chew it. I ripped off a piece of the dark bread and demonstrated, humming delightedly to show that it was edible. He scoffed and averted his eyes. Oh, dang. You're gonna be the douchebag, aren't you? Sorry, my peasant food does not please my lord's tastes. Ugh, his attitude was rubbing off on me. Calm down. If anything, he's hiding that he's scared. He did just wake up in a foreign place. Are you in nobility? He fell silent, and only the occasional crackle of the fire and the hooting of the owls interrupted the stillness. I leaned back and ruminated over my meal, careful to leave some food untouched in case he changed his mind. There's that apple tart too. I'll save it for later. Later. I wrapped up the cloth, only vaguely aware that the stranger was examining my every movement. It nettled me slightly, but I decided not to comment. I did not want to do anything that would cause him to raise his guard even more. It was now dark, and I occasionally fed the fire, getting the feeling I was going to be spending the night. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally spoke up. Orally, I am from the town of Barry. And you? He reluctantly uttered the name, gazing into the fire. He seemed much calmer now. And how did you get here? His lip curled, almost smirking knowingly. Thanks for helping. Sorry about that. You have unusual eyes and a strange fashion accessory over your ears. I think I can find your story credible. He flexed his hand, scrutinizing his fingers carefully. Kerr? He glared at me, as if offended that I addressed him directly. So, where are you from? Should I do the male voices? I should just read over them. At this point, I really don't care if I don't sound like them anymore. He tapped his knee petulantly. I'm gonna assume I pronounced that right. I'm one of the dragons, an earth dragon. He stated it of full pride, with no ounce of humility. Dubiously, I inspected him from head to toe. Alright, looks like I'm gonna have to stop it here for now. So far we've met our kind of a jerk guy. I'm assuming this one is going to be the nice one that keeps everything rational. And Orderly is just gonna be a fun-loving main character. So far, music's very nice. The character designs I find really interesting. We don't have much of information about our characters yet, but hopefully we will soon. And that's it for part 1 of Autumn's journey. See you guys in the next one.